What's going on, everybody? C4 here. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're continuing with the 32-team 7-round mock draft series by alluding to the team that holds the 29th pick in the first round, and that is the Tennessee Titans. Now, before we get into that mock draft, through the power of Madden 20, let's take a look at this team, what the moves they have made in free agency, how their roster shapes up, so we best know how to assess and address their needs when it comes to the mock draft. Looking on offense, this is a team that's like playing like a Madden rebuild. Like they don't have a whole lot of depth, so gonna need to find that depth because that's how they found a way to pay Ryan Tannehill ridiculous, like $100 million. They got Derrick Henry. They're definitely getting ready to hammer out a deal. He was the hottest running back in the National Football League, and you don't have Tannehill getting that money if Derrick Henry wasn't in this offense. Breakout star in A.J. Brown helps out. Hopefully Corey Davis can take the next step. And then you get Humphreys in the slot at wide receiver. They need depth beyond that, but your three key starters, unless there's no injuries, look pretty goddamn solid. I definitely think you can add a wide receiver. Definitely need to find a running back too that complements. A pass-catching running back that could fill in that Dion Lewis role behind Derrick Henry. But from that front, it's not bad. Could be a lot worse. Jonnu Smith emerged last year. Really nice looking option at tight end. Enough so that they can move on from Delaney Walker. Looking at the offense, Jones is solid, Saffold solid. For whatever reason, Luan just went to right tackle here, but he's their starting left tackle. You have Dennis Kelly at right tackle, Nate Davis at guard. Nate Davis probably start. They paid Dennis Kelly too to bring him back, but you might want to bring in a lineman here for sure at some point. Not saying your first round pick, but I would bring in at least draft a tackle potentially. I don't know if you really want to feel comfortable having Dennis Kelly be your starter with no competition, but generally his offense. Add a little bit more depth. Your starters are pretty much in place. Flipping to the defense, pretty much same thing can be said. Simmons was a little bit of a gamble because he wasn't healthy right away, but he came on late in the season. He's really good. Jones is solid. Probably could use another defensive end to complement him, which, I'm not going to lie, spoiler alert, that's where we go very early in the draft. Secondary, really only have two legit corners in Adoree Jackson and Butler, so another position you definitely want to try to add some depth. Vaccaro and Byard, really solid at safety. Byard, one of the most underrated safeties in the National Football League. Linebacker core, also not too shabby. You brought Vic Beasley on a one-year flyer. Inside, Brown and Evans are getting better every single snap. Same with Harold Landry. Good youth. Best football is ahead of them. So really, I'm looking at this defense, again, much like the offense. There's one spot, I think, obviously defensive end. Bring one of these guys in and just add depth. Continue to add some depth. Maybe sooner than later, spend and burn a pick on a corner. So not a whole lot of work to do here for the Tennessee Titans, a team that should, as long as teams don't figure out Ryan Tannehill and make them look like fools for giving him that kind of money, they should be absolutely contenders in the AFC next season and should go deep in the playoffs as long as they can keep Derrick Henry healthy and hot. So without further ado, let's get into that 7-round mock draft of the Tennessee Titans. So now on the clock at pick 29, the Tennessee Titans are on the clock, where I am selecting Neville Gallimore, defensive lineman from Oklahoma, 6'2", 305 pounds, a little bit of Canadian bias here, but he's every bit a fringe first, early second-round player, an explosive defensive lineman with a great motor who just screams from all reports about his character and stuff, a Mike Vrabel guy. He'll be opposed Jeffrey Simmons, give the Titans an immediate replacement for Jarrell Casey and a long-term pairing with upside with Jeffrey Simmons, who impressed very much when he was able to come in the back end of the season after recovering from an injury. I think if you get the upside, Jeffrey Simmons and Neville Gallimore, you might have one of the best pairings of 3-4 defensive ends in the league in 2-3 years. And that's exactly what the Tennessee Titans are going to be trying to build, because you pair that, you already got some established guys, Jayon Brown, Harold Landry, Rashaan Evans to a degree. You throw in that, you get that front three solidified, things are going to be looking pretty damn good. Going to the second round of pick 61, a player I'm high on a little bit, like just a smidget more than others. At 61, I'm letting Josh Uche, edge rusher from Michigan, 6'1", 245. One of the best, if not the best, pure speed edge rusher in this draft class. Crazy win rate in college. Great production as a one-year starter at Michigan. Was kind of rotational till last season where he had 11.5 TFLs, 8.5 sacks. They brought in Vic Beasley on a one-year flyer. So maybe this year Uche would bring a rotational edge ability. But I think long-term, Vic Beasley, it's a one-year deal. Maybe he can rejuvenate his career with the Tennessee Titans. If not, you get a guy like Uche long-term, pairing that with Harold Landry, very similar to the first-round pick, with Gallimore to pair with Jeffrey Simmons. Looking pretty good. Opposing sides got to answer. You got to be asking a lot of questions for opposing team's offensive line to try to answer. When you can bring really 4 guys on every given play that can make a offensive tackle and offensive guard look foolish, it's going to be really good and really tough to stop that Titans defense. Going to the third round at pick 93, I'm selecting Isaiah Wilson, offensive tackle from Georgia, 6'6", 350 pounds. He's a project tackle with kind of first-round hype. I'm not buying that whatsoever, but you're getting age. He just turned 20, so he's one of the younger players. He's a redshirt sophomore. But he's a massive human being who brings the power to dominate college-level defensive ends. I think he projects to be a future right tackle. Right now, that Titans right tackle spot is held down by Dennis Kelly. You're welcome, Titans fans. We made that trade, sending Dennis Kelly. We got Dorial Green-Beckham. We thought at the time that was a finesse. And in reality, you guys got solid play at Dennis Kelly. He had 2 trick play touchdowns, something like that. Got more touchdowns for you guys than DGB did for us. Well, I guess you guys got the better end of that. But I don't know how happy or how confident you are of him being a for sure starter right tackle. I think he's a solid swing tackle, but a starter. But you get a third-round pick in Isaiah Wilson, add some immediate competition right there. But you probably are going to have to start out with Dennis Kelly as your starter and try to grow and develop Isaiah Wilson, as he is still a little bit of a project player. Going to the fifth round to pick 174, I was letting John Reed, corner from Penn State, 5'10", 190 pounds, a man corner who might just be suited for the slot spot, but he was a big-time winner at the Combine, 4.49 the 40-yard dash, looked really good in the drills. I didn't even have this guy in my scouting notes. I had to write down, I was like, what, all right, CB28 or something like that. I was like, who's John Reed? Never heard of this guy. Went back and looked. Really productive career at Penn State. 37 pass breakups, 7 interceptions. I think would add depth to a secondary that needs it. Logan Ryan's still out there. I don't know if they're going to bring him back on a one-year deal. Maybe the market wasn't what he was looking for. But really, you got Malcolm Butler, who's getting to the end of his career. You got Dory Jackson, first-round pick in 2017. He's solid, but other than that, zero depth. You're good at safety, but in terms of cornerback depth, there is not a lot there. So a guy like John Reed comes in and is going to help solidify the back end. Then we finish up the draft. They got 3 7th-round picks. First up at 224, I was letting Jason Huntley, running back from New Mexico State, 5'8", 185 pounds, a receiving back. The last 3 years, he's had over 40 catches with special teams ability. He has 5 special team kickoff return touchdowns in his career. Who had a breakout year in 2019 as a runner. Over 1,100 rushing yards, 9 touchdowns, 7.1 yard per carry, and he ran the 4.3s at his pro day. I think it was a 4.35. So he's a value pick to fill in that Dion Lewis role. Because right now, who is going to be that receiving complement to Derrick Henry? You pay Derrick Henry, or they're getting ready to pay Derrick Henry. But other than that, I do not see the guy that's going to be able to catch 30, 40 some catches for this Tennessee Titans offense. You will, I guarantee. If you get Huntley in the 7th round, he will be that guy. And that is insane value, given that is still a big spot, a big role player in this Titan offense that is lacking and they don't have right now. Going to the second 7th round pick at 237, I was letting TRISHTON Jackson, wide receiver from Syracuse, 6 feet tall, 200 pounds, has some get off, 4.50, and runs some pretty crisp routes. The 1-year starter at Syracuse last year, 66 catches, 1,000 yards, 11 touchdowns. It adds outside depth to the Tennessee Titans, who really only have 2 outside wide receivers on the roster in Corey Davis and A.J. Brown. And even A.J. Brown, he's inside out. He can do slot, he can work outside, but obviously with Adam Humphries on the roster, you're going to be looking at A.J. Brown to be outside because he had a breakout year, was really, really good. But, not a lot of outside depth beyond that. Got a bunch of slot guys, need some outside playmakers, and Jackson can be that. And sticking with that, in the 7th round, final pick, 243, I would bring in another wide receiver, Joe Reed. We'll call him wide receiver, special teamer, if you will, from Virginia, 6 feet tall, 220 pounds. First team last year, 4 special teams ability, All-American. More of a return specialist than a receiver right now. Offers something different, though. Less of a risk, lessen it of Adoree Jackson getting hurt. He's your best corner, and you have him on special teams. Obviously, he's a nice return man, and you can have him out there from time to time, but I always get worried when you have a key player back there on special teams. If you need it, if it's 4th quarter, Super Bowl on the line, playoffs on the line, division on the line, yeah, put him back there. But consistently, I don't know about that. I don't know, for example, I don't watch a whole lot of Titans games. I know earlier on he was their main return man. I don't know if that's still the case, but either way, a guy like Joe Reed can take a little bit of that risk factor of having more ways for Adoree Jackson potentially get hurt away, because he could come in and be a really good productive return man right away. 2019, yeah, he's a first-team All-American returner. He's intriguing upside as an offensive weapon. 4.47, 38-inch vert, 220 pounds at wide receiver. So he's just an offensive weapon. He's built like a running back, has played wide receiver, definitely needs time to develop his route running, but you can find a way to get him the ball and just weird gimmicky plays, screen passes, stuff like that, and he will be a very impactful player and a guy that I think, just from his special teams ability alone, picking him at 243 in the 7th round should most likely make that final 53 for the Tennessee Titans, adding 2 wide receivers here to get some wide receiver depth as well to finish out the draft. So there you go, guys. That is my 7th-round mock draft for the Tennessee Titans. Let me know in the comment section below how you feel about it, if you like it, if you hate it, and everything in between. If it's your first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button, smash the like button if you enjoyed, and until next time, it's C4 saying peace out.